Gators pull 5 or more 5-stars in the 2024 recruiting cycle? We're going to take a look at who UF is targeting, who they have a shot for, and who they think they'll land in the 2024 signing class. In 2023, 8 teams finished with multiple 5-stars. Those teams finished in 7 of the top 8 spots in the country in the 24/7 rankings. The only one finishing outside of the top 10 was Texas A&M, who finished 15th and had the least amount of kids taken in the top 15. Also, A&M only had 2 5-stars. Only 2 5-stars, but they only had 2 5-stars. Teams with more than 2 all finished high in the recruiting rankings. Florida is battling and in the mix for more 5-stars this year than they have in a really, really long time. We've got a chance to do some really special things on the recruiting trail this season. There are some guys who will likely end up in this class. There are some guys who are also probably long shots. And then there are some who are honestly just going to be a battle until the end. Let's take a look at who they may land, how many 5-stars they'll get, and a prediction on who is next to commit to the Gators. So first, let's look at the guys UF is targeting. First up is Jeremiah Smith. All right, now Jeremiah Smith is a current Ohio State commitment. He is a 5-star wide receiver. Publicly, he has said he's 100% committed to Ohio State. He has posted videos with their coaching staff. He has hung out with lots of players up there. He has stressed that he is all in on Ohio State. However, his actions around other programs maybe tell me that his commitment is not quite as solid as he is saying it is. He has already visited UF, and I don't know if you remember this, but we talked about this a couple of months ago. When he flew into Gainesville, DJ Lagway also hopped on a plane from Texas to come and join him. That is pretty interesting, right? DJ Lagway doesn't live an hour or 2 away. He is not close. He had to jump through some hoops, put through some real effort to come and meet with Jeremiah Smith in Gainesville, kind of help sell him on the program and honestly sell him on himself, right? Like as a wide receiver, you want to know who's going to be throwing you the ball. Jeremiah Smith has scheduled an official visit. This is also a kind of an interesting turn of events that has happened in the last couple of days here. He actually announced his official visit date, and then he made a correction saying that he is rescheduling it to the first weekend in June because DJ Lagway was going to be there then. And he wants to take his official visit with DJ Lagway. I think that this shows that he's building a relationship with Lagway. Lagway is recruiting him hard. I think it is going to be really, really difficult to tear him away from Ohio State, but how this is all playing out has me intrigued. The next guy we're going to talk about is Jamari Howard. He is 6'2", 175 pounds from West Hialeah, Florida. He is a corner that is currently committed to Michigan State. He has had several visits to FSU and UF recently. And I've been told that FSU does currently lead for him. He's the number 50 player overall and On3. Could he rise to the top 32? Potentially, right? This is a guy from South Florida. I think that maybe when you go and visit the Northeast, or you go where it's cold and it's snow and it's something different, maybe that's intriguing at the beginning. But I think kind of the more that he's thinking about it, the more that he's realizing that the South is where he wants to be. It's where he wants to play his football. I know that he is really getting pulled hard by Florida and Florida State. He is still in contact with Michigan State's coaches. Obviously, he's currently committed to them. But I bet he ends up staying in the state of Florida. Like I said, I've been told FSU leads here, but this is another important one to really watch. I think Corey Raymond will have a big say in how this turns out. He is somebody who, like we've talked about in every video, it feels like for the last 3 months, is somebody that can really develop talent, put players in the NFL, and he's great on the recruiting trail. So we're going to see if that pays off with Jamari Howard. Next up is Jarrett Gibson. All right, now listen, UF has a stable of running backs right now, but they are going to need to replace Johnson and Etienne in the coming years here, right? Gibson was originally committed to Dan Mullen at one point. He is a 5-star running back from our own backyard. He is from Gainesville, Florida. He currently attends IMG Academy. He was on campus at the end of January. He's been on UF's campus more than he has been anywhere else. He is the #1 running back in the nation, according to 24/7. UF really needs to get back in here. He is wanted by everyone. This is going to be a hard battle. I've heard that NIL is going to play a role in this significantly as well, but he's a Gainesville boy. Landing him and keeping him from attending Alabama, Auburn, Clemson, Georgia, these big other programs would be a huge step in the right direction for Billy Napier, and it would send a loud and clear message to the top programs in college football. The next guy up is Josiah Trader, nicknamed JoJo. FSU and Miami battle here, according to most people. He is another 5-star wide receiver, according to 24/7 Sports Composite rankings. He stands at 6'1", 175 pounds. He plays football at Chaminade Madonna Prep in Hollywood, Florida, one of the powerhouse high schools in the state. And listen, UF has a ways to catch up here, in my opinion. We are hearing that this is a battle between Florida State and Miami, but they're not out of it. And especially as the season kind of rolls on, we'll see how each of those programs do. Hitting Trader really hard, and I do think that they are still in the mix here. Getting him on campus for an official visit will obviously be a huge key to continuing building this relationship with him, but it's something to keep an eye on. Next up is Jonathan Daniels. He is On3's #1 tackle in the country. He's from Pensacola, Florida. He's 6'5", 285 pounds. There have been some predictions that he is leaning FSU's way, but UF has stayed on him. They're continuing to give him something to think about, and he has visited Gainesville a few times. So another name to pay attention to. Florida needs some offensive linemen. He has the body type that Napier seems to go after with linemen. He's really tall, he's really big. So Jonathan Daniels, keep your eye on him as well. Now there's two guys that could get to 5-star status. Mincy is a name that you are going to hear a lot. He's 6'3", 185-pound safety out of Daytona Beach, Florida. He is a 4-star athlete. On3 has him as the 8th best safety in the country. 24/7 has him as the 4th best safety in the country. He is the 64th best player in the country, according to On3. He'd have to get into the top 32 to be a 5-star, and that's honestly not an insane leap. So we will see. On3 has the Gators at a 93% chance of landing him. Obviously, that is a pretty strong prediction right there. He has already visited UF twice this year after visiting last year for the Utah game. Certainly a great game to have gotten him in for. Hopefully there will be more this upcoming season. He is one of those multi-sport athletes that Napier loves. He plays basketball and also runs track as well. He is a really, really good athlete that Florida is trending very well here. He could certainly be a kid that announces for UF sooner rather than later. And obviously he is a piece of the puzzle that UF wants, whether he shakes out as a 4-star or a 5-star. But I do think he has the potential to jump into that 5-star range. Next up is Miles Graham. He is already committed to the University of Florida. He is a 6'1", 212-pound linebacker out of Atlanta, Georgia. He's the 50th overall player nationally. And much like Zay, he will need to make a jump, but it is certainly not impossible to think that he could jump 18 spots into the top 32. And also, Rivals already does have him listed as a 5-star. So again, UF commitment, he's coming to Florida either way, but he may be a strong 4-star or he may have the opportunity to move up into 5-star status. All right, do me a favor. Before we get into the next few, the growth these last few weeks has been insane. Hit the subscribe button if you don't mind. We are inching closer to 3,000 subs, and I really need your help getting me there. All right, next. Everybody's favorite commit in this class at the moment, DJ Lagway. Also, Xavier Phillips, Florida landed him just a few days ago. Both of these guys are current 5-stars. They are both very solid. They're locked in from the Gators. They are not going anywhere. All right. So Florida, if you're circling back to the beginning of this video, we talked about the teams, the 8 teams that had 5-stars in their class. 7 of 8 of them finished in the very, very top of the rankings at the end of the year, right? So Florida has 2. Any of the guys that we just mentioned will obviously up that total. And now we're going to move on to our 10th name. We're going to have to get a little creative here maybe. Maybe Colin Simmons, he's a 5-star edge rusher who visited UF for their spring game. Maybe David Stone, who was rumored to be visiting this spring and UF is still in contact with. In all transparency, both of these guys are probably huge long shots. But if UF can get either one of them on campus, they could do some work to get their way back into both of these guys' recruitments. So how many of these guys do UF land? Let's get your thoughts in the comments. I feel confident in saying they get at least 5 guys on this list, but some might be just outside that 5-star range. As far as 5 stars, I feel good about where UF sits, obviously, with Lagway and Filsamy, but they are definitely not giving up on guys like Smith, Daniels, and Trader. UF is recruiting extremely well, and they may land up to 5 or 6 guys on this class. A couple of them might be outside that 5-star range, but listen, they're still going to be top 100 kids, which will solidify a great recruiting class for Billy Napier. We're going to do a video on this more extensively, but I also believe that UF's NIL efforts have greatly improved, and you're seeing that have an impact on recruiting right now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Who will UF get from our list? Who do you want to see UF fight a little harder for? And if you missed our video on UF potentially changing a major recruiting strategy, click here.